Lou Diamond. He's not just the hair club president, he's a client too.
Today on Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
And I love being able to come in and say, we can fix this. This is fixable. It's pretty rare that I've come across a situation that's not fixable if people are willing to put in the time and the effort.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have the founder and COO of LINK Consulting. She is a strategic planner of people development for the small to mid-sized company and an expert at bringing out the best in people. Her passion is to help people live a life of purpose and to help companies tap into a person's purpose as a resource to achieve the company's goals. Thrive Loud listeners, Jill Valdez. Jill, how are you today?
I'm so great. How are you?
Jill, I am spectacular. I love chilling and hanging out with consultants on this show and people who are always about making organizations better. But I want our listeners to learn a little bit more about you, not just from the bio that I read. I want to hear a little bit about how this became your passion and your path and what you focus on. So share that with the listeners if you could.
I love telling this story because it is very unconventional. I was an executive pastor for 17 years, and I was at a couple of different churches. One of them I started, and then the other one was a very established church. And so then back in 2016, the church I was at was going through some financial struggles, and I resigned that position, but wanted to stay in the area. And so I went to go get a job in the for-profit sector. And I really expected that I was going to have to do catch up because churches typically are like 100 years behind the times, especially operationally. And so I'm like, oh, I don't know. But I did it, and I got this job with this company, and I started as their project manager, and then they developed into the director of human resources. And what I found was the things that I knew and that I had been doing in the church world was really lacking in a lot of businesses. So I was playing around with a lot of it at the company I was at. And one day the owner of the company came to me and he said, Jill, you need to start your own agency. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm getting fired. I can't believe this. And he was like, you need to be doing this. What you're doing for me, you need to be doing for more than just one company at a time as an employee. Go start your own agency. I'm being super selfish and keeping you. Go. And so that is how I kind of got to the place that I'm at now is through him literally pushing me out of the nest.
Okay. I love this angle, by the way. I guess looking backwards, it always seems so much clearer. When you're trying to look at a path forward and you don't see where you've gone, it doesn't seem like a logical move, obviously moving as a pastor into the private sector. But you hit upon something really great, and I want to dive into this. What were some of the things that you had been doing each and every day as a pastor that you did not see specifically in the business world that you knew you could help immediately with? And that was, I guess, the most surprising to you. Give an example of what you saw in the workplace or something that stuck out.
So the most surprising to me was how companies didn't have a plan of investing in their people. Like in the nonprofit sector, it's all volunteer based. You don't get to motivate people with money because there is no money in the nonprofit sector. Right. And so I really expected that coming into businesses that they would already have kind of those things in place, like how to develop a team member from starting out as an entry level to then moving up in the company and helping them find satisfaction in the work that they were doing. Again, in the nonprofit sector, there was that understanding that people as volunteers, they were enjoying what they did. Otherwise, they wouldn't show up. But in the for-profit sector, it's like, wow, not only do you get to go to work every day and do this great thing, but you also get paid for it on top of that. But I was finding that so many employees did not share that enthusiasm and did not experience that on a daily basis.
Jill, how do you help to instill that, I guess, excitement about what they appreciate at work? What are some of the tactics that you found at LINK Consulting, your company, to help make that happen?
So the biggest thing that I do is understand who the staff is, and then connect their personality, their passion, and their talents, and show them how that connects to the vision and the success of the company that they're at. Giving them the idea that they make an impact. The success of the company really does depend on them. It for so long it's been about, customers. The customer's always first, which obviously you have to have customers for profit. But if you don't have good employees, if you don't have a good staff, you're not going to have customers. So recognizing and helping those team members understand what they do is so vital to the success of the organization.
Would you say that the bigger challenge you have is working with the people in the organization to help them understand this, or to have leadership understand that maybe they're not doing those things? Where do you see the bigger problem today with your work?
The bigger problem actually is with the staff. I think that for the teams or the organizations that I've worked with, most of the leaders want to do this. They want to be able to figure out how to make the workplace experience be the very best for their team. They don't know how, and so that's typically why they'll find me. But it's really the staff. They almost have a zombie-like mentality of, I'm going to come in, I'm going to punch the time clock, I'm going to do my job, I'm going to get my paycheck, and that's supposed to be all that there is. And so again, showing them you have more control over how much you enjoy being here. You have control over the success of the company. You have control over the environment of this place. That's where really a lot of the work takes place.
I like this, and now it's all coming to me in the pastor side of this, because many people can. Well, think of it this way: many people can work with great leaders, and they can have their leaders help to filter down to their people the way that they know how to do this. It's still very important, though, for the people, the community, the congregation, to make sure that they're empowering too. It isn't just hey, he's telling me or she's telling me what to do, and now I'm going to react from it. I got to contribute as well. And the more that I do, the more of a cohesive unit it feels, which is great, because as someone who gets to communicate a message, you've been doing that for a long time.
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
What gets you the most excited from a challenge point of view? I love asking consultants this question, in the sense that, some people like going in and they see a situation that's messy and they can clean it up. Is there a specific communication issue that you're better at, or that you love to tackle more than others?
I don't have a specific one. So I've recently discovered the Enneagram. Love it. I think it's fascinating. No, that's definitely a different topic. But my personality is I am the challenger. So coming into a situation that is just a big fat mess, I don't care what the mess is. I love coming in and being able to go, oh, I can fix that. Not a problem. Bring it on. In fact, I had a friend of mine. He has a company that's going really well, and he needed to hire some staff, and it was a very specialized industry, and he was so frustrated. He's like, man, I'm trying so hard. And I was like, well, let me help you with that. I've got some free time. Let me help you with that. It's not necessarily what I do, but I know how to do it. And he was like, oh, he goes, I don't think so. I think, he goes, that's just going to be too big of a challenge for you. And I looked at him, I said, oh, a challenge? Bring it. And I've been able to get him 4 new staff members. So he doesn't say that to me anymore. But I love all that to say is I love the challenge of coming in and helping companies, especially because when things are so messy, there's just a lot of low morale. There's a lot of despair. There's hopelessness. And I love being able to come in and say, we can fix this. This is fixable. It's pretty rare that I've come across a situation that's not fixable if people are willing to put in the time and the effort.
What would you say today, Jill, is from your experience, if you look back at the clients that you've had, an experience where you felt that great feeling of rewarding, cleaning up the mess, fixing the problem, and then looking back and saying, that was one of those that I'm most proud of. You have one of those?
Yeah, I do. I have been working with a company here in my area, and when I came in, morale was so low, like pretty much everybody on the team was ready to quit. There was a manager that, out of insecurity and out of some of it was their personality, just was very dogmatic and very driven, and just was not setting up a good culture. And people didn't like coming into work at all. And so we did some work together. We talked about personality. We talked about communication. I helped the manager understand why her communication style is ineffective with the rest of the team. And I also helped the team understand some of the driving motivation of why the manager does communicate the way that she did. And we did some workshops together. We did some coaching, and it's been super exciting to walk into that place. You can literally feel the difference when you walk through the door.
Like that. Yeah. Jill, why Link?
You want the honest answer?
Yeah, of course. Our listeners do. Our listeners want the truth. They want to know.
Yes. So when I first started my consulting agency, I had absolutely no clue what I was doing as far as like the marketing aspect. I knew what I wanted the business to look like and knew how I wanted to serve clients. So I was working with a good friend of mine, and he's just a master at sales. He's my hero. And I was working with him, and he was like, so you need to come up with a company name. And he helped me through that process, and through understanding what I want to be and what I want to do. Link really stuck out as I am the link between where a company is now and where they want to be in getting to the next level.
Okay. See, that was a good, simple answer. I like that. We always like, Jill, to learn a little bit more about you, and we've gotten that opening from your past. And obviously, you've got a successful company. You're loving what you're doing. We always have those days where we're not quite shining as great as we'd like to, or having a little bit of an off day. When that happens to you, what person do you seek out, or what practice do you seek to get yourself back on the thriving track?
When I am not having a good day, I have my previous boss actually is a really great mentor, and I will give him a call. I also, obviously with my background, I will spend some time in prayer and meditation and remembering some of the promises that the Lord has put in my life. I love hanging out with my husband. So we might go on a hike or go for a walk and just spend some time just kind of away from it. And when all else fails, we just break out the Nintendo Wii and play some Mario Kart.
Jill, that's the first time that we've ever broken out the gaming devices to get back on the thriving track. And you know what? I like that. Do me a favor, Jill. Share with the listeners all the places people can find you. Websites, links, anything we need to know, social media. We will put it all in the show notes, but it always sounds better when we hear from you.
Awesome. So people can definitely find me on LinkedIn. I am very active there. I love that platform, have grown to really appreciate the connections and what that platform has to offer. I do have a website. It's linkconsulting.info. But really the best way that your listeners can get a hold of me is take out their phone that there probably is sitting right next to them open up their text messaging app, and they're going to text the word LINK, LINK, to 31996.
All right. I like that. We're going to put that directly in the show notes. And
Awesome.
I'm going to do that as well. I was about to do it right then and there, but my phone was dead. I have to charge it.
That could be a problem.
It happens every now and then.
It does.
All right. So you're familiar with this program, Jill, and we're going to have a couple of the traditional Thrive Loud questions here, but with a little bit of a spin. So first of all, can you share with the listeners your all-time favorite movie?
Oh, yes. That's an easy one. Remember the Titans? Denzel Washington.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So why does that movie connect with you?
Oh, it's such an underdog story. And here you have this guy, for one, the character that Denzel Washington plays. He's so arrogant and so certain that he's going to be able to take this team and overcome all of the racially diverse issues that are going on at that time. And he's going to make this happen. He's just going to push it forward, and he's going to make it happen. And then to see it happen, of course, is wonderful. To see the transformation that takes place in the players and in the coaching staff and in the community, I love it. It's just very inspiring to me.
I think it is, and this, I might be stealing this from the podcast show, The Rewatchables, where Bill Simmons goes through movies, and that's one of the rewatchable movies, and they went through it. It is definitely the apex moment or the peak of Disney sports movies, because from it is the ultimate. It covers every bit of the emotions, and such an incredible, amazing story of getting together, and really good locker room songs.
Yes. Oh gosh, yes. Yeah. Love the soundtrack, and yes.
Okay, so this was the question that was lingering in my brain here. You've been in the private sector for quite some time. Jill Valdez, do you miss being a pastor?
I don't, because I still am a pastor.
Okay.
Just not in a very traditional sense. My husband and I actually moved to Northern Arizona to start a campus of a church, and I help him with that. So I still am kind of pastoring people. It's just not my full-time work.
Okay.
There's days when I miss that, but I've been able to take what I did and the heart of that and apply it in my everyday life.
I like this, Jill. That really puts together and puts a bow very nicely on what we talk about in Thrive 11, those that are thriving in their lives, their businesses, and their passions. Yeah. And obviously you're doing all of that, living the life you want, making your business and helping to take the skills that you've had, and obviously something that you're very passionate about and near and dear to your heart that is still part of your everyday, doing it when it works best for you, which is awesome. So Thank you for sharing this today. This has been awesome. I liked having you on. I know our listeners did, and I'm gonna have to go back and watch Remember the Titans again, because that movie does get to me. It's also great, good music. I think the lean in and sound there. Is there a song from that movie that sticks out in you? That's one of your favorite tunes? Or
no,
any song that you like. What is your jam, Jill?
Oh, so my jam. Well, and that's also very situational, but probably for the last year, my jam has been the soundtrack of The Greatest Showman.
Oh, so good. Yeah, it's great music.
Yeah.
Awesome stuff. Jill Valdez, this has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for sharing a little bit here on Thrive On today.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be a part of this. Thanks, Lou.
And to all our Thrive Lab listeners out there, thank you for joining us. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
Cut me down. I'm gonna send a flood, gonna drown them out. I am brave, I am bruised, I am who I'm meant to be. This is me. Look out, 'cause here I come. And I'm marching on to the beat I drum. I'm not scared to be seen. I make no apologies. This is me.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe wherever you listen to your podcasts and check us out on the web at thriveloud.com or follow us on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook at Thrive Loud.